Hey, guys, it is Dana here. And today I'm going to be talking about staying calm during the holidays. That's right. I'm going to be talking about our own reactions. So that means us yelling or screaming or just, losing our cool either to our kids, to our partners, wanting to hide in the bathroom and our own emotional dysregulation, especially during this time of the year. And this is something that so many of you guys, when I asked, what are your biggest struggles when it comes to dealing with challenging behaviors or getting through the holidays or parenting a challenging kid, you said that your biggest challenge was yourself and being able to stay calm. I just got an email from someone saying, I just feel so angry all the time. I can barely deal with life. How am I supposed to help with taking care of my kids? And I want you to know first and foremost that you are not alone, that this does not mean that you are somehow broken or a bad parent. That is not the case. And so this is part 3 of our series. Today, we're going to be talking about parenting triggers during the holidays and how to remain calm and what to do with our own parenting reactions, especially with the increase of going to the in law's house or busy schedules with the overwhelm and the stress of, keeping the house clean and running all the errands and doing all the things. And so, and in the uptick of behaviors from our kids. So, this is part four of our 7 days to less chaos during the holidays series that we are running this week. We know that the last 2 years for parenting has been extremely challenging for parents around the world, and especially increasingly challenging if you are raising a child who is what we call out of the box. Extra challenging, extra sensitive. They are unique in their own right, and it's difficult to connect with them, understand them, help them, support them in any way possible. And so that is what we're going to be doing today. And the rest of this week is giving you guys tips for free during this series on how to get through the holidays with less chaos, less stress, and less arguments. And so we've already talked about so far in this series, we've had 3 parts already. So we talked about school, we talked about and school refusal, changes in routines. We talked about parenting a strong-willed kid, especially one who says no or refuses a lot. We talked also yesterday about bedtime. And so today we're talking all about your own parenting reaction. So if this is you, if this is something that you need, just let me know in the comments. I'm going to be sending the notes to you. All you have to do is type calm in the comments and we'll send those over when this is all said and done. So let me know where you're watching from. Super excited to have you all here. And that is, I'm just ready to get started. I am super excited. All right. So the very first tip that I have for you, if you are struggling with remaining calm during the holidays, if you're struggling with getting triggered, blowing your lid, all those things that we've talked about. The number one tip that I have for you is I want you to give yourself permission. So I know that sounds weird, right? So let me just write that down. Give yourself permission to mess up. Now, so often we think that parenting, we have to do it perfectly, that we always have to get it right. And if we're not able to be Zen mamas and stay calm in the storm, that we're not able to say the right thing, do the right thing, then somehow that means that we are a bad parent. And I am here to tell you that you are not a bad parent. You are human. I want to repeat that. You are human. Your brain is doing exactly what it is designed to do. It is designed to protect you when it senses danger. And so your brain is going into fight, flight, or freeze. And that is just a really good reminder. Oh, thanks, brain. I am human. So amazing, right? And so we can thank our brain, we can thank ourselves for reminding us that we are human. And we cannot because what happens is if we are mad at ourselves for getting upset, then we're just going to spiral even more. We're going to react stronger. We're going to go into more overwhelm. But if we can just stop and say, okay, All right, that wasn't perfect. That wasn't the best, but you know what? Thank you, human, or thank you, brain. That reminds me I'm human. Then I don't have to beat myself up, right? I can celebrate my brain and I can think, all right, how can I get my brain to help me to remind me that, hey, I am okay. So some of the things that you can do is just, one, give yourself permission and then know that, okay, fight, flight, or freeze. Like, this is not the end of the world. And there's two things that you can do if you do blow up. So after you have this blow up with your kids, you can do one of two things, or actually both of these things. After you have celebrated yourself, after you have given yourself permission for your mess up, what I want you to do is I want you to do these two things. One is I want you to reconnect, and two, I want you to repair. So reconnect and repair. So first, you're going to start by focusing on your kid. You're going to go back to them and you're going to give them some love and some connection time. You're going to reconnect with them, give them hugs, just support them. And then once both of you are in a calm state, now you can repair. You can help your child understand what happened, where it was coming from. We're not going to place blame. Well, you did this and it upset me. No, sometimes I get upset when this happens. And look, I'm really sorry. It's not really about you. I'm going to work on that. And, you know, I'm going to learn some strategies that help me remain calm next time this happens. So repair is helping your kids understand what happened and then also apologizing. Look, I'm really sorry that this happened. Here's what I'm going to do differently so that I can get better at this. So I'm not constantly yelling at you when this stuff happens, so that I am not already stressed out. And again, if you want these notes, all you have to do is type calm in the comments, and I'll be sure to send them over when we're all done. So, the second thing that I want to talk about today is that we talked about how this is your brain, right? Well, how do you reduce this? It's one thing to be like, okay, I can give myself permission, Dana, but if it's happening over and over and over again, like, how do I stop it from happening? And the number one thing to do is to first recognize and then reduce the triggers. So I'm just going to write that down, recognize and reduce triggers. And we have some ways that you can do that. So what you want to do is you want to start identifying where is this coming from. So prevention is one of the best cures. So if you can get ahead of where these triggers are coming from, where this upset is coming from, you can actually get ahead of the problem. And so a lot of times this is coming from a buildup. It's not coming out of nowhere. And so we use a behavior spiral, just kind of spiraling out what has happened. And a lot of times when you spiral this out, it's really a buildup of sensory overwhelmed, you not getting enough rest, having enough energy, you getting touched out, sounds out, like just requested out, decision making out. And so you go into this state of overwhelm and you either shut down or you go into fight mode and you start screaming at anyone around you. And what you're upset about is almost never about the thing that you actually yelled about, right? That's just the tipping point that knocked you out of commission and sent you over the edge. The other thing you can do is start to look under the surface at your blowups. What is under the surface? Are you getting your needs met? Are you tired? Are you hungry? Are you feeling safe? And if someone is judging your parenting, if someone is, glaring and staring at you while you're at the in law's house, then you might feel unsafe. You might feel judged, and that might cause you to blow up as well. Do you have the connection you need? Are you feeling connected to your partner, to your kids, to the person that you're blowing up with? If not, how can you build that connection out of the moment? We talked about sensory needs. Are you overwhelmed sensory wise? Are you getting your movement in? I know when I get busy, I don't go do my daily walks. I'm not getting up as much. I'm staying or, writing things down and so I'm not really getting my own sensory needs met. And so you can really start looking at where are these triggers coming from. And I'll tell you the number one place that triggers come from during the holidays is our own expectations that we're putting on ourselves to be perfect, to do it all, to get it all right. And so when something goes wrong, then we just completely start to spiral out of control. And so if you can remove this expectation that you have to do it all, get it all right, do it all perfectly, then that can help so much to just alleviate that stress and overwhelm that's causing you to blow up. Now, one last thing I've got here. This little thing here with a percentage point, because this is some of the most powerful research that I have gotten lately. It's by the amazing Dan Siegel. And he has found that you only have to get parenting 70% right. That's right, 70% right. And then with the other 30%, you just have to help your kids understand what happened, what's going on, help them make sense of the world around them. And that goes back to point number one, where right? If you're helping them make sense of the other 30% by reconnecting and repairing after there's a blow up, now you can let go of this idea that you've done everything wrong or perfect or whatever it is. And instead, you can just focus on that relationship that you're building with your kids. And no, you don't have to get it perfect. So, we've done two of our tips so far. Number one is we've talked about if you blow up, number one is to give yourself permission. Then we've talked about how to get ahead of blowing up so that we can reduce the amount of times that we're blowing up. We can reduce the intensity and the frequency. And that is by getting ahead of it, by looking at triggers, by looking at where the buildup is coming from, and then remembering that we only have to get it 70% right. Now, if you're wanting these notes, I can send them to you afterwards by just typing calm in the comments, and I'll send those over to you as soon as we are done. So I've got the last one. Before I go on, I would just love to know, like, what are your biggest takeaways? I thrive on feedback. So what have you taken away so far that you're going to make sure that you use moving forward? What is like so far the biggest aha moment that is going to help you stay calmer during the holidays as you go forward? I see April and Barbara and Mishka. So awesome seeing you. I see you writing calm. We're going to be sending this over as soon as this is over. All right, last one, number three, and then I'm going to answer some questions. So if you've got a big burning question about remaining calm during the holidays, you can just type question, put it in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer as many as I can as soon as I give you this last tip here. All right, so the last tip, the thing that we want to focus on next is what to do in the moment when we blow up. So we've talked about what to do after, we've talked about what to do before, but we have not done what to do during. So let's talk just a little bit about what to do during. Now, the number one advice that people will give you is just hold your tongue. If you can't say something nice, don't say something at all. And honestly, that is just not the best advice in the world, because when you're triggered, when things are frustrating or overwhelming to you, you cannot think properly. Your brain is not logically thinking right now. And so if you are trying to like think what words you should use and you're trying to use your kind words or whatever it is, nothing good is going to come out. So instead, we have to remind our brain that we are safe. So let's talk about how to stay calm and ground ourselves in the moment. So you need an in the moment plan. And there's one thing that you can do in the moment that is so, so important. And this is reminding our brain that we are safe. And in order to do that, we have to stop. We have to stop talking. We have to stop moving. We have to stop doing. We have to stop fixing. We have to stop worrying and trying. We just have to stop. And that takes no extra time at all. So this isn't about adding more to your plate. It's actually about removing things. So you just stop. That's number one. Okay. So number one is stop. That's it. Number one is to stop. Number two is you're going to breathe. Now, this can be done even like just standing right there. That can be done in the checkout line at Target. This can be done while your kid is melting down over the toy they want. This can be done when your kid is refusing the food at the dinner table. Whatever it is, just stop. And I think in every single video that we've had so far, I've talked a lot about the hand to heart breath. So just putting your hand on your chest and just takes less than a minute. I mean, it takes like 3 seconds to take a deep breath. What this does is it gives oxygen to your brain. And when you give oxygen to your brain, you tell your brain, hey, we're safe. We're good here. It's okay. Now, the very final thing that we have to do to tell our brain that we're safe is we have to give it what we call an anchor. And the type of anchor I want to introduce today is a thought swap. So when we're blowing up, when we're getting all upset, a lot of times there's this outward trigger, right? Maybe someone said that, you're a terrible mom, or if you just spanked them, then they wouldn't act like this, or I was never allowed to treat people that way, or why are you not making them eat their food? Whatever it is they're saying that might be triggering, all these negative thoughts will start to come up in your head. And we call those thought monsters. And so, in order to anchor in the moment, you want to, ahead of time, right now, think through what are the big negative triggering thoughts that come up. Like, this always happens. They think I'm a terrible parent. He's such a brat, whatever it is. What is that like top thing that comes up when this happens? Now, you can post those in the comments and I will try to swap them live. But if we don't deal with those thoughts and the emotions that they bring up, then we will end up exploding. And so we have to swap those thoughts for something that is a lot more empowering. So instead of this always happens, you could say something like, wow, he really struggles when, or wow, I notice when this happens, this happens. So instead of my dad would never have let us speak to him this way, you can swap for, all right, I hear that we have the same goal, just different methods. Maybe we'll address this later. Or instead of, why is my kid always the one in trouble? And then you can swap it for, my kid is struggling more than his cousins, and that's okay. So you want to swap it for something that reminds your brain, you are okay. You can get through this. A lot of times it's, we can get through this. We've done it before. We can do it again. But we're looking for a swap for a disempowering thought for a more empowering thought. So I'm just going to put thought swap. Okay, so now we've talked about our 3 ways to get through our triggers and how to remain calm during the holidays when you're dealing with your own parenting triggers and your own emotions and reactions. And again, if you'd like this, just type calm. We'll send it over. I see Rhonda and Mishka, Amy have all put that in there. Biggest takeaways are the 70%, the power of the pause. Yes. So the 3 biggest things is number 1 is after is to give yourself permission, right? It's okay. We don't have to get this perfect. Just because I messed up does not mean I'm a terrible parent, and I'm going to reconnect and repair with my child. Okay. Number 2 is to recognize and reduce your triggers ahead of time before the next time. So you can spiral out an event and you can start to say, okay, what was the buildup? What were my needs? What was triggering me that I can be aware of and have a plan for next time? And a lot of times this is your own exhaustion and overwhelm. It's your own expectations. A lot of times this is sensory overwhelm and overload. So how can you take care of those before they build up? And reminding yourselves that you only have to get it 70% right. So even if you make a plan ahead of time and it still doesn't work, reminding yourselves, I only need to do 70% right. And then the other 30%, I do have to communicate with my children. I do have to have conversations. I do have to reconnect and repair and help them make sense of what's happening so that they can build self-awareness and we also can build that self-awareness for ourselves. And then finally, what to do in the moment. You want to, ahead of moment, create a plan for what you're going to do when that trigger happens. So the very first thing that I recommend is stop, don't do anything, take a deep breath, and then swap our thoughts. This always happens. No, this happens when there's a lot of noise. Or my kid is always melting down. No, my kid is stressed. When my kid struggles with their emotions when there's a lot going on, right? So, whatever it is that's going to help you, my biggest thought swap is he needs me, or I am human, or I can do hard things. Those are some thought swaps I use when I'm in complete overwhelm. So I'd love to hear, what are your biggest takeaways? And I see Rhonda asking a question, so I am going to answer questions here in just a minute, but I'd love to hear, what are you going to take with you so that you are prepared for the next time that you feel triggered, that you feel your emotions boiling over, your overwhelm boiling up? What are you going to take from this so that you can get through the holidays with less stress, less arguments, less overwhelm, and less anger and blowing up? All right. Now, again, this, you just have to type calm and we will send this over. Now, here's the thing. Like I said before, this is day 4 of a 7-day series. We still have 3 more days. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how to deal with those naysayers, or the people who have different parenting philosophies, different parenting advice than you might have, and they don't parent the same way you do, but they're telling you all those thoughts, especially when you go to family dinners, or you're at school picking up your kid, and you just feel judged. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow, how to advocate for yourselves. We're also going to be talking about the increase of tantrums, meltdowns, outbursts that are happening during this time of year. And then finally, in our last one, we're going to be talking about how to create an electronics plan that works for everyone in the house during this time of year, when there is an increase because kids are off school, or kids are overexcited, all those things. And if you want to make sure that you are on the list and you're getting emails every single day for this series, then just type calm in the comments below. And not only am I going to send over the doodle and the notes, I'm also going to send over a link. And this link is going to give you access to our Black Friday wait list. You'll get on our email list, and you'll get emails every single day letting you know that we're going live at noon Central Standard Time for the next 3 days. And then you also will get notification the moment that our Black Friday bundle is available. And so we know things are going crazy and things get busy, and we don't want you to miss it. Our Black Friday bundle is going to cover the topics that you guys have told us you're struggling with the most. So that is bedtimes, school, electronics, tantrums and meltdowns, parenting reactions, parenting a strong-willed kid, and parenting with someone who has different parenting styles than you. It is our biggest bundle of the year. We only do this once a year, and it is a steal of a deal. It is 7 bundles for less than the price of one item, not even less than the price of one bundle, but 7 bundles for less than the price of just one item in one bundle. So steal of a deal, only do this once a year. We're going to be doing it for Black Friday. So just type calm in the comments. You'll get on our email list. You will get our doodles, and you will get a chance to be the first to grab that the Parenting Challenging Kids Black Friday mega bundle. All right. So with that, I see some questions. So Rhonda, I'm going to answer Rhonda's question. Rhonda says, is it better to stop and breathe privately, or do we put an emphasis on it to show the child that this is what we should do to try to calm down by getting their attention and showing that we are dealing? Rhonda, I think this is like a little of both. When you're overwhelmed and you're triggered, it is not a teaching moment. It is a moment for you to practice, and for you to put into place the things that work for you. Afterwards, you can be like, I don't know if you noticed, but I was really stressed out. Something that really helped me is I learned that I can stop, I can take a deep breath, and then I can swap a thought in my head. And that helped me stay calm. That's what I would recommend more than trying to teach them in the moment. Now, if they notice in the moment, no problem. But you definitely don't want your kids to feel like they caused it and you're having to calm down because they did something. This is more about your own reactions, your own triggers, and you learning how to self-regulate on your own first. And then out of the moment, you can teach your kids how to apply this, how to use this themselves, and you can help them be more self-aware and self-regulate. But this is more about you taking care of your own energy reserves, your own stress response, your own fight, flight, or freeze response. So I hope that was helpful, Rhonda. If anyone else has any questions, you can just type questions in the comments below and I will try to answer those. We've got a couple more minutes before I say goodbye. Be sure if you're just joining us, you can just type calm below and you will get access to not only the doodles, but you will also get access to our Black Friday waitlist. So you can be the first to know, one, about the next 3 days that we're going live, and also about our Black Friday bundle as soon as it's available. So, Rhonda, great. I'm so glad that this was helpful. Fantastic. If you guys know of any person who could use this series, just tag them below. I'm always looking to help more parents, especially knowing that this has been such a stressful last couple of years, and going into this holiday season can feel even more stressful. So I want to help as many parents as possible. So if you know someone who could use this, just tag them, give them some love, let them know that they're doing an amazing job, let them know that they're awesome, and that even if they are struggling with staying calm, that is not a sign that something is wrong with them. We do not need to be ashamed of that. That is being human. So I just want to just one last time remind you guys to type calm. I'll send over the doodles. I'll send over a link so you can get on the wait list for our Black Friday bundle. And be sure to like and follow the page so that you get notified tomorrow when we go live and talk about how to deal with parenting with different parenting styles, right? How to deal with the thoughts and the feelings that come up when other people are parenting with different parenting styles. And just I love to end all my lives this way, because I truly believe there's someone here that needs to hear this, and that is just, you are doing an awesome job. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're watching this, the fact that you're trying to remain calmer, you're trying to connect more with your kids, you're trying to understand yourself and your kids on a deeper level, that shows me that you are exactly the parent that your child needs. And I don't think that you're broken. I don't think that something's wrong with you. I know that you are absolutely amazing. And so I just want to remind you of that you're doing everything you possibly can. And for anything that you're struggling with, you don't have to do this alone. There's an entire army of people here ready to support you, ready to back you, right here on this page and in our groups. And so you don't have to do this alone. So with that, I just want to remind you guys are amazing. And I will see you guys tomorrow when we talk about like how to deal with people who parent differently than us. And you guys are awesome. See you tomorrow.